Crossing time falling for the prince.
Lalin, a modern Thai office girl, obsessed with ancient Chinese dramas, gets sucked into a mysterious painting and wakes up as a stranger in an ancient kingdom. What starts as a desperate struggle to survive turns into something totally unexpected. She captures the attention and heart of Prince Longyu, the cold and stoic third prince, who never believed in love two hearts. Suddenly, he finds himself protecting this strange, outspoken woman, who turns his world upside down. Amid court intrigues, battles for the throne, and hidden secrets of the kingdom, can Lalin find her way back to her own world? Or will her heart make her choose a completely different destiny? This story has it all: romance, comedy, martial arts, palace schemes, and heart-fluttering moments. Get ready to cross time and fall in love right alongside her.
Chapter 6. Lalin begins her true martial arts training.
At the Black Dragon sect, after learning that her time travel might not have been an accident, Lalin clenched her fists tightly, determination burning in her chest. I must master the power inside me and uncover the truth of the one who crossed time before me. But before she could even think about grand destinies or ancient secrets, she had one very real, very immediate problem: surviving the brutal training of the Black Dragon sect. Standing tall in front of her, Grandmaster Byrong spoke in a voice that brooked no argument. You must learn to control your chi within 1 month. If you fail, you will not be allowed to touch the advanced techniques. 1 month? Are you kidding me? Laylan's heart sank, and she felt the urge to wail at the sky. But deep down, she knew, if she didn't push herself now, she would have no chance of surviving what was coming. Her fists clenched tighter, and a tiny spark flickered in her palm. She stared down at it in awe. Maybe, just maybe, I can really do this. The training begins. Sit and meditate. Alright, easy enough. Lalin crossed her legs confidently, taking a deep breath just as the instructor had taught. Now, control your chi. Got it. I'll just pretend this is like yoga. Half an hour passed. A senior disciple walked by, frowning. Junior Lalin, you haven't moved your chi even a little. Wait, what? I've been sitting still for ages. Surely something's happening. Determined, she squeezed her eyes shut and focused. In, out, in, out. Slowly, her body relaxed until her stomach rumbled so loudly, it echoed across the courtyard. Oh no. Instead of awakening my chi, all I've done is make myself hungrier. Around her, a few disciples stifled their laughter. Even the stern-faced Byrong raised an eyebrow in mild surprise. Lalin covered her face, cheeks burning. This is going to be a long, long month. A night full of mysteries. After a long day of grueling training, Lalin couldn't quiet her restless mind. She found herself wandering back to the hidden library, her heart pounding with curiosity. I can't stop thinking about that key of dimensions Byrong mentioned. There has to be more to this. One by one, she carefully opened the ancient scrolls and dusty tomes, her fingers trembling slightly as she traced the faded characters. Suddenly, her eyes caught a peculiar line. When the moon loses its light, the key of dimensions shall appear. What does that mean? The moon loses its light? Could it be talking about a lunar eclipse? Frantically, she read on. The key connecting two realms is hidden in a place untouched by moonlight. A place without moonlight. Could there be a secret chamber? A hidden valley? Or maybe a cave? Her heart raced as the pieces slowly began to fit together. She closed the book, gripping its cover tightly. No matter what, I have to find that place if I ever want to go home. This is my only chance. As Lynn stood frozen in place, the ancient scroll still clutched tightly behind her back. A cold voice sliced through the heavy silence. What are you doing here? Ah, Lalin nearly jumped out of her skin, whipping around to find Prince Longyu, standing tall with his arms crossed, sharp eyes fixed intently on her. Oh no, I'm doomed. Lalin's mind raced wildly. He stepped closer, gaze flickering to the edge of the scroll peeking from behind her. What information are you searching for? Lalin let out a dry, awkward laugh, quickly hiding the scroll behind her. Oh, just looking for a little bedtime reading. Your Highness. Longyu raised an eyebrow, his lips curling into a subtle smirk. Bedtime reading? On the topic of time and dimensions? That's quite the curious hobby you have. Crap. Of course. Mr. Ice Prince isn't stupid. Lalin felt sweat trickling down her back. He fixed her with a piercing stare, his voice dropping lower. You're hiding something, aren't you? Lalin swallowed hard, heart hammering in her chest. Should I tell him the truth? Should I confess I'm from another world? Or will that only get me locked up again? At the dark moon night, Black Dragon sect. The night was pitch black. The moon veiled behind thick clouds, and a bone-chilling wind swept across the empty training grounds. Lalin stood alone, hugging herself as she looked up at the vast, starless sky. The air feels strange tonight. A shiver ran down her spine. Am I just overthinking? Or is something really off? Shaking her head to clear the worry, she turned back toward the main hall. But just as she took a step, whoosh, a shadow flashed across the rooftop. Wah! Laylan's eyes widened in alarm. Someone sneaking into the sect. Her heart raced as she squinted into the darkness, tracking the figure's movement. The shadow moved swiftly, silent as a phantom, darting toward Prince Longyu's quarters. No. This is totally an assassination scene. Laylan's breath caught in her throat. She clenched her fists, mind racing. Do I warn him? Do I go myself? What if I screw this up? Oh no, oh no. But before she could think further, her feet had already moved. She sprinted after the shadow without hesitation, adrenaline surging through her veins. Hang on, Prince Iceface, I'm coming. At Prince Longyu's guest hall, Longyu sat quietly, eyes calmly scanning the ancient scrolls before him. The flickering lantern cast a warm glow, reflecting his cold, stoic expression onto the surface of his untouched tea. His usual unshakable presence filled the room. Swish! Suddenly, the sharp hiss of a blade slicing through the air shattered the stillness. His usual unshakable presence filled the room. In a blink, a gleaming sword shot straight toward the prince's throat. But before the steel could find its mark, crash! A figure tackled him out of the way. Lalin! She rolled across the floor, springing up to deliver a spinning kick. That sent the assassin hurtling into the wall. Longyu's eyes widened slightly, a flicker of surprise breaking through his icy composure. That girl again? Your Highness. Are you alright? Lalin spun around, panting. But instead of answering, Longyu just stared at her, his sharp eyes narrowing. That movement just now. She's too fast. His mind raced. Not ordinary at all. Crash. The assassin, snarling, pushed off the wall and lunged again. This time aiming directly at Lalin. Smack. With nothing but her bare palm, Lalin struck down on the assassin's knee, hard. Arg! The assassin howled, crumpling to the ground in agony. Longyu stood silently, eyes sharp as a hawk. What sort of technique was that? He asked in a low voice, though his gaze was heavy with suspicion and curiosity. Lalin froze. She hastily slapped on her best innocent face. It was just pure luck. All luck. Your Highness. Longyu narrowed his eyes. Luck? Footsteps approached by Xian, the playful bodyguard, arrived just in time to witness the scene, and burst out laughing. Ha! Luck, she says. Luck that knocks an assassin flat on his back. That's a new one. Lalin swallowed hard, her smile twitching. Oh no, did I overdo it again? I'm digging my own grave here. After interrogating the assassin, who was still groaning and clutching his ribs, they discovered he had been sent by the shadowy forces tied to the royal court. But his true target remained a mystery. I believe this is connected to the secret plots inside the palace, Longyu murmured, his voice low and cold as his sharp gaze turned back toward Lalin. His piercing eyes locked onto her like a hunter cornering its prey. But what concerns me more is, who exactly are you? Sweat dripped down Lalin's back. Oh no, this is it. I'm in big trouble now. At the Black Dragon martial arts sect, after the assassination attempt, Lin had become the center of attention across the sect. Everywhere she went, whispers followed, disciples murmuring about her unusually sharp combat skills, curious gazes trailing after her every step. And of course, Prince Longyu never let her out of his sight, his cold, calculating gaze forever shadowing her every move. But surprisingly, the one who seemed most attached to her wasn't the icy prince. It was Xian, the charming, playful royal guard who always found excuses to come bother her. Hey, little martial sister. Xian drawled as he leaned casually against a post near the training ground, flashing his signature grin. Heard you kicked an assassin into next week. How about showing me a few moves? Lalin huffed, crossing her arms. Ugh, why is this guy always sticking around like a cat sniffing fish? She shot him a glare. Sorry, senior brother. But I'm kinda busy right now, trying not to get killed. Xian only chuckled, eyes glinting mischievously. Don't be shy, Lin, everyone here knows. You're a rising star. Even His Highness can't stop watching you. Laylan's face went red instantly. What? That cold-faced prince watching me? No way. She spun around. And sure enough, she caught sight of Longyu standing not far away, arms folded, his gaze sharp and unreadable. Oh no, this is getting way too intense, Laylan thought, clutching her head in panic. Afternoon training. Junior sister Lin. Grip the sword tighter, one of the senior disciples instructed, adjusting Lin's hand carefully. As she practiced the basics, Lin nodded earnestly, focusing all her attention on the wooden practice sword. Okay, steady, focus, no distractions. Whoosh! Suddenly, a figure dropped down beside her in a flash. Training so hard, I'm starting to get worried about you, Xian said with a sly grin, tapping his own practice sword lightly against hers. Maybe you need some private lessons from me. Laylan rolled her eyes so hard they nearly fell out. Xian, why are you here bothering me? Xian let out a low chuckle, his eyes gleaming with playful mischief. Because I just can't resist being near you, junior sister. Around them, whispers rippled across the training ground like wildfire. Whoa, is guard Xian flirting with the maidservant of Prince Longyu? Did you see that? He's totally into her. Laylan's face flushed red as she waved her hands frantically. It's not like that. I'm just trying to train. Not far away, standing under the shade of a plum blossom tree, Prince Longyu watched the scene unfold silently. His cold, sharp eyes narrowed slightly, and his fingers curled tighter around the folded fan in his hand. Xian, you really like to meddle, don't you? He thought, his gaze flicking briefly to Laylan. And you? Why do you always attract chaos like this? This is getting way out of hand. Laylan's face turned bright red as she whipped around to glare at Xian. Stop saying such crazy things. I don't want to be caught up in rumors with you. Xian smirked, tilting his head playfully. Rumors are just rumors. But I was speaking the truth. You know. Lin's eyes widened. What? She flailed her arms in protest, her cheeks burning hotter. Oh no, oh no. This guy is dangerous. How can he joke about stuff like this so casually? After finishing her exhausting day of training, Laylan trudged back toward the guest hall, ready to collapse onto her bed. But before she could even reach the steps, Baixing, the cold, sharp voice sent a chill down her spine. Laylan flinched, turning to see Prince Longyu standing there, arms crossed, his piercing gaze locked onto Xian, who had followed close behind. What are you doing? Longyu asked in an icy tone. Xian shrugged lazily, a teasing grin playing on his lips. Just showing my interest in junior sister Lin. Longyu's eyes narrowed, the air around him turning colder. You mean? Without missing a beat, Xian turned to Lin and declared loudly, I like her, and I intend to pursue her, seriously. The entire courtyard went dead silent. Lin's jaw dropped. What? Xian, are you insane? She stammered, face flushed beet red. But Longyu remained still, his eyes darkening, the faintest twitch of his brow betraying the storm brewing beneath his calm exterior. You dare? Longyu's fingers clenched slightly at his sleeve. We'll see just how far you plan to take this, Xian. Laylan's eyes widened in pure panic. What? Hold on a second. When did I ever give permission for this? The entire hall erupted into whispers. Everyone who overheard the bold declaration was utterly stunned. But the one who seemed the least amused was none other than Prince Longyu. His gaze grew sharper, and the air around him thickened with an intimidating, cold pressure. Xian, still wearing that playful grin, tilted his head slightly. Your Highness, don't you think we should let junior sister Laylan decide for herself? Longyu's fingers tightened imperceptibly around his folded fan. Heh, what game are you playing? Xian, his voice was low, the edge of a storm lurking within. Xian chuckled softly, eyes sparkling with mischief. If I were truly serious, would your Highness be willing to let her go? Wait. Laylan frantically waved her hands between the two men. There's no need for any choosing here. None at all. But her protests only made the tension grow thicker. The smirking rogue on one side, the cold and calculating prince on the other, and poor Lin caught right in the middle of this sudden storm of rivalries. Longyu's sharp eyes locked onto Xian, his voice as cold and steady as still water. She doesn't belong to anyone. Xian lifted an eyebrow, the corners of his mouth twitching upward, in a teasing smirk. Oh? Then why? Your Highness, do you look so displeased? For a fleeting second, Long Yu's expression stiffened, a subtle crack in his icy armor. But he didn't offer a reply. Instead, he turned slightly, voice crisp and commanding. Prepare the horses. We leave at dawn. Lalin blinked, completely thrown off. I'll leave? Go where? Long Yu's eyes flicked toward her. Unwavering. We're returning to the capital. What? Lin practically shrieked, jaw dropping. Xian clapped a hand dramatically to his chest, pretending to swoon. Oh my, Your Highness. Is this your bold new strategy? Making her travel with you, so no one else can get close? But Long Yu didn't take the bait. Without so much as a glance back, he turned and strode away, his long silhouette disappearing into the shadowed corridor, leaving behind a tense, thick atmosphere that pressed heavy on everyone's chest. Lin stood frozen, heart pounding, mind spinning in circles. Wait, what just happened? Why am I suddenly being dragged back to the capital? And, wait a minute, is he seriously jealous? Dizzy beating heart. The journey back to the capital had officially begun. Prince Long Yu's grand procession rolled out from the Black Dragon sect, banners fluttering, armored guards riding in formation. Lalin, who still hadn't fully recovered from yesterday's chaotic whirlwind, found herself perched awkwardly on horseback right beside the icy prince himself. Behind them, Xian, ever the grinning troublemaker, rode his horse with lazy ease, his sharp eyes glinting with amusement. Isn't this a bit too close, Your Highness? Xian teased, casting a mischievous glance at Long Yu. Or are you afraid our little Lalin here might run off to sit with me instead? Long Yu shot him a brief, cutting look, his voice as cool as ever. I'm making sure she doesn't fall off the horse. Really? Xian chuckled softly. Because from here, it looks a lot more like you just don't want me near her. Lalin, sandwiched awkwardly between the two, groaned internally. Hello? Did anyone ask me how I feel about this? I'm not some prize to fight over. She tried to shift slightly in the saddle, cheeks burning, only for Long Yu's hand to dart out instinctively, steadying her by the waist. Careful. His voice was low, almost a whisper. Lin's heart did a traitorous little flip. No, don't go acting cool right now. During a rest stop by the forest stream, after riding for half a day under the blazing sun, the royal procession finally halted at the edge of a forest near a sparkling brook. Lalin practically jumped off the horse, breathing a sigh of relief. As her aching legs touched the ground, she hurried to the water, kneeling down to splash cool handfuls onto her flushed face. Ah, I can finally breathe. But before she could fully relax, here, a familiar, teasing voice spoke beside her. Lalin looked up to see Xian settling casually next to her, grinning as he offered her a water flask. Tired, little junior sister? Blinking in surprise, Lalin accepted it with a small smile. Thanks, Senior Xian. He leaned in slightly, his smirk playful. Drink up. Tomorrow, I'll personally escort you all the way to the capital on horseback. Before Lin could even process that, a cold, cutting voice sliced through the moment from behind. Xian, that's not your duty. Lalin flinched, turning sharply to find Prince Long Yu standing there, arms crossed, eyes sharp and glinting, his expression the picture of thinly veiled irritation. Xian laughed lightly, flicking his gaze toward the prince. Oh? Or perhaps Your Highness intends to escort her himself. Lalin's face went red in a flash. She waved her hands frantically. No need to escort me. I can ride just fine by myself. Both men, one smirking, one cold and silent, continued to watch her, the tension between them so thick she could practically slice it with a sword. Under the moonlit night, at the quiet camp by the forest, the campfires crackled softly, casting flickering shadows over the tents. Everyone had long settled into sleep, but Lin found herself restless, sitting alone under the vast sky, gazing up at the countless stars twinkling overhead. Ah, so peaceful. She sighed softly, hugging her knees. If only I could just stay here, and not deal with love triangles or missions or whatever else is waiting in the capital. But just as she was drifting into her own thoughts, crunch, soft footsteps approached behind her. Lalin stiffened slightly before turning, only to freeze when she saw him. Prince Long Yu, the ever-stoic, ever-cool prince, came to sit silently beside her, his sharp profile outlined by the pale moonlight. Still awake? His deep voice broke the quiet, calm but laced with something she couldn't quite name. Lalin swallowed, her heart skipping. Yes, Your Highness. I couldn't sleep. She forced a laugh, rubbing the back of her neck. Too much on my mind, I guess. Long Yu's eyes softened, just a fraction as he gazed out at the stars. For a moment. They sat together in companionable silence. The cool night air wrapping around them. The world reduced to just the two of them under the infinite sky. Lalin thought frantically, stealing a glance at the prince's unreadable expression. Without looking at her, Long Yu murmured quietly, almost to himself, "From now on, I will protect you." Lalin's breath caught in her throat. Hold on? What did he just say? Under the stars, the night grew strangely intimate. Lalin hugged her knees tightly, forcing a nervous smile. "I was just thinking, Your Highness," she murmured softly, "thinking about what I might face once we reach the capital." Prince Long Yu remained silent for a heartbeat, his sharp gaze resting on her, unwavering. Then, in a voice low and calm, he said, "As long as you're under my protection, no one will touch you." Lalin's heart jumped. What? Did he just say something totally romantic out of nowhere? She frantically waved her hands. "I don't want you to feel like you have to protect me all the time. I can take care of myself." Long Yu's eyes narrowed slightly, the corner of his mouth tugging into the faintest smirk. Are you worried about me being burdened?" he asked, voice teasingly low. "Or, are you more worried that by XIN, we'll keep trying to get closer to you?" Why does this feel like he's cornering me into confessing something? Lalin panicked inside, her face heating up rapidly. At dawn, as the golden light spilled over the camp, everyone was busy prepping the horses. For the next leg of the journey, Lalin adjusted her robes and stepped toward her own horse, only to freeze when a cool, commanding voice cut through the morning air. "Ride with me," Long Yu said flatly. Lin blinked, utterly confused. "Huh? But I already have my own horse." The prince gave her a sidelong glance, voice calm yet unquestionable. "Your horse looks tired. You'll be safer riding with me." "Safer? Or is this just because you don't want me sitting nearby XIN?" Lalin shrieked inside her head, feeling heat creep up her neck. By XIN, standing not far away, let out a low laugh. I suppose that means I won't get the chance to sit beside junior sister Lalin today." "Huh?" he teased, flashing his signature mischievous grin. Without another word, Long Yu simply extended his hand toward Lalin. Waiting, Lalin glanced around, only to realize that all the soldiers, disciples, and even some servants were watching intently, eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Oh no, oh no, oh no. I've become the center of attention." She panicked, cheeks flushed. But in the end, she placed her hand in his, and as he effortlessly pulled her up onto the horse in front of him, Lalin couldn't help but feel her heart skip a beat. With a long sigh, Lalin finally reached out and placed her small hand into Long Yu's palm. In one smooth motion, the prince pulled her up to sit right in front of him on the horse, so close she could feel the steady rhythm of his breath behind her. His arm brushed lightly as he adjusted the reins, sending an unexpected shiver down her spine. As the caravan resumed its journey, whispers rippled through the group. Why does His Highness look unusually pleased today?" One soldier murmured. "I've never seen the prince this relaxed." Another whispered. But there was one person who definitely didn't find this amusing. By XIN, the playful guard rode alongside, resting his chin lazily on his hand, his smile wide and teasing. Well, looks like I've been thoroughly left out." He called over, eyes twinkling with mischief. "Oh no, this love triangle tension is only getting worse." Lalin wailed silently, burying her red face in her hands. Stay tuned for the next chapter. The battle between the stoic prince and the playful guard isn't over yet. And what new trials await Lalin in the imperial capital? Please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next episode.